Take a seat, guys. You ready to get started?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we just need to put your microphones on.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hold on, I just need a brew. Welcome to the Making It Simple podcast, where we make IT simple. My name is Stephen Allan, Linton Technologies, and I'm the CEO here. I'm joined today by producer Jamie. He's been trying to get me to do these podcasts for some time now, and I said the only way I was going to do a podcast was if he joined me for the first one. So welcome, Jamie.
Thank you. You've thrown me in at the deep end, haven't you? But excited to see where this goes. It's my idea, so...
I know you love it.
Exactly. I think we're a bit late to the podcast party, but I hope as the weeks roll on that we're going to be ahead of the curve when it comes to tech, staying ahead of the curve in terms of tech insights and all sorts of things.
Lots of people are doing podcasts at the moment, but what that's given us the opportunity to do is learn from what others are doing, what styles, what people like. And we've seen some gaps in the market, things that we could do a little bit different, information that we could provide that might help people on their journey, and certainly learning some of the insights of the things that we do, the tricks that they could use to make things better in their businesses and make things more secure and help them on their journey. So there's lots of things still for us to cover, and I think our style will probably really resonate with a lot of people as well.
Yeah, it's quite exciting what we've got coming up. Well, what we've got planned anyway.
So. Well, you've kept it all a surprise for me, so I actually don't know what's coming up. But all I know is that we're going to be speaking to some of our customers, some of our suppliers, and some industry leaders as well, doing some cutting edge things that might be things that we're already using within our business, or things that we're actually looking to adopt, and people can follow us on that adoption journey as well.
Absolutely. And what sort of things are we trying to cover as the weeks roll on?
Well, I mentioned tech insights. That's a big one because everybody's always looking at how they can use technology to improve their business, things they want to do differently. It might be technology firsts, things that people haven't actually done before. It might be some things that we're looking at that we want to bring people on that journey as we're adopting those new technologies. But ultimately, it's how can people use technology and IT to make things simple in their business, because it shouldn't be a barrier. It's a tool that's there for people to use, and we don't want it to be something that people are scared of. We want people to use that tool in the most efficient way possible to actually help propel their business in whichever way they want to be propelled.
Absolutely. I hope as the weeks roll on there'll be some quick insights and something for everyone to learn. So I'm going to introduce a fun segment that we've got, but I'm not going to ask you it now, but we've got someone behind the camera who is going to give us this nice prop. So this is our bright insight. I'm going to leave it here and we'll save that till later. But yeah, I think it's quite exciting what we've got. There's a few questions that I'm now going to ask you. So now we've got the prop. We're going to get the laptop and we're going to find out a bit more about Stephen Allan.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
Dangerous. Well, let's see what we've got to ask you. So let's get into it. Episode 1. How does it feel to be launching this?
It feels special. I think deep down, I know I was resistant, but I've always thought we should be doing something similar to this. So it's quite exciting to be in a position where we can start sharing some of our journeys, our stories, the things that we do, and how we help our customers as well. Because I think ultimately this is going to help a lot of people.
Absolutely, I love that. I'm very excited to see where this goes. But to start with, I want to sort of rewind a bit, and I want to ask you what first got you into tech, and not just that, but what made you start Linton?
They're very deep questions, aren't they? So, what got me into tech? Well, as a teenager, I was very entrepreneurial, and I was always looking at ways that I could do things and save money. And I think everybody kept saying to me, I was a tech whiz. I didn't think I was a tech whiz, really. But people used to say I could just look at something and see how to use it. I think every teenager can probably do that. And as I get older, I now get the instruction manuals out that I never used to do. However, I think initially what made me set up Linton was I'd been to university. I'd studied business informatics, which was a bit like the bridge between business and technology. It was understanding technology and how it can actually help business. So a bit like the perfect consultant role. So went to university, did the business informatics. When I left there, it was, what do I do? Do I go and work for somebody else? Or do I continue my entrepreneurial roots and start something? And everybody says, straight from university, a bit risky starting a business, isn't it? And my answer to that is, well, I couldn't think of a more perfect time. As a student with no money, what have you got to lose? Start a business, see where it goes, see what you can do. That was in October 1999. We were just about to have a big millennium bug that everybody was panicking about. What better time to start an IT company? And straight from university, started it with a girl I was at university with, who was a farmer's daughter. And it was the perfect niche for us to start with. Farmers who were being forced to diversify by the government and looking at ways they were having to fill in forms online that they'd never had to do before because they'd always filled them in manually. So none of them had computers. So we were kitting them out with computers. They were needing to know how to use those computers, so we were training them on those computers. And we were helping them to diversify their farms into bed and breakfasts, farm shops, campsites, and all sorts of things. And did that right up until the foot and mouth hit. And at that point, that was when we diversified our business and changed our niche from just being agricultural to being general business. And that came, I think, if I remember rightly, it was a couple of years after we launched.
Yeah,
so we were
absolutely.
still in our infancy and still quite dynamic and able to flex. And that was about 24 years ago. So
It's a long time ago, that. It's,
so we've been
nearly
going
as old as me.
26th year now. So yeah, it's quite exciting times.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's quite inspiring hearing where Linton's came from. But let's find out a bit more about who Linton are and what we do. So let's start with, so if no one's heard of what MSP is, can you tell me in plain English what a managed service provider is?
You're asking me for the dictionary definition, a managed service provider. But ultimately, for what we provide to our customers is the entire IT wrap. It's making sure that they've got an outsourced help desk. Think of it almost like having your internal help desk, your internal IT team, but external. So we understand the businesses that we work with. We understand what they do, how they need to do it, what makes them efficient, so that we can best support their users. So we can advise them on the technology that they need, the software that they need. We can help roll that software out. We can secure that software. And ultimately, all the way along that journey, support those users to make sure they're making best use of that. But then on an ongoing basis, it's actually monitoring them, it's securing them, it's making sure that they have the insights that they need to make sure that they can move their business forward. And as I touched on at the start, all of this is part of a tool. The businesses that we support, they're very, very diverse. And none of them would consider them to be an IT company. And they don't want to be specialists in IT. They want to be specialists in what they do for their business. So they look to us to be that tool, that facilitator.
Absolutely.
To make the technology work.
Yeah.
And in a nutshell, that's what an MSP is.
And I suppose the new buzzword that is in the industry at the moment is managed IT consultancy. So what does that mean? I suppose you've touched upon how we approach business, but what does that buzzword mean to you?
Well, MSP, we've never really focused on that phrase. That's what people refer to us as. But what we actually do is we're supporting our customers. We're consulting with them. It's that approach. And I think that's why the industry's flexing really to being something that's more descriptive, that describes what we do, rather than just having that acronym that everybody's like, oh, I don't know what an MSP is.
Yeah,
and I think that's the reason for it. It makes people feel more engaged with IT and technology, but ultimately it's what we've always done. because
absolutely.
we always try and demystify it by not using those acronyms.
No, it encompasses like the supportive service that we offer. We don't just provide a service, but it's the full wrap of like the consultancy that's involved with helping businesses.
I think if you look at it from the perspective of none of our customers we see as customers, they're partners.
Yes.
And the biggest thing with everybody we work with is they don't see us as a supplier, they see us as part of their team, and the word trust is there. We make recommendations to our clients all of the time, things that they need to do, things they could change, things they could do better. And we're not doing that because we're trying to make more money out of them. In a lot of cases, we're actually helping them to save money, be more efficient, and make better use of technology. And our customers, because they see us as a trusted provider, take on board what we're saying and don't necessarily fight against it and don't necessarily say, oh, I need to go and get 3 quotes against that. What we're suggesting is what they should do and what they want to do, and they trust us to deliver. And we've proved over the course of time that what we're doing is in the best interest of our clients, and that's why we have that trusted partner relationship.
Absolutely, like an expert opinion. We're coming in, and I suppose the next question I've got for you is making IT simple, making it simple. It's the name of this podcast, but what does that mean to you personally? It's all in the similar vein of what we're trying to achieve as a business and with our customers and the people we work with.
Technology can be very overcomplicated. And do you know what? So many people overcomplicate it. And maybe that's because they're trying to justify what they're doing or how they're doing it. We took a view a number of years ago that it wasn't about giving all of these options. A customer doesn't really want to decide between 5 different antivirus providers. They want to know, well, which one do you want to use and which one is the best and which one secures me? And ultimately, with everything that we do, rather than actually giving the customers a shopping list and making them decide and trying to give them the information that almost makes them need to be IT experts to decide between the packages, we packagize everything to actually say, well, this is just what you need. If you want secure support, that's secure support. And that encompasses everything. Your Office 365 license, all your security licenses, your support from us, all of the monitoring, all of the reviews and things that you need to make sure that all of your users just have the tool that they need to work. And it's all about making it simple. We don't want people to need to be experts to understand what we're offering them.
Absolutely, and I suppose that's a challenge I've got at the moment because I work in marketing. I'm not that tech savvy, but it's my job to sort of translate all of that technical jargon, and it's quite good fun. But it's the techies that we've got, the experts, that they can make sure it works first time.
Well, the techies are always going to be techies.
Yes.
You're never going to remove a techie from being that nerdy person that loves to get under the bonnet of the hardware and the software, and they'd love to talk about it all day long. And some customers love to hear those stories and love to hear that. But ultimately, our mission really is to be between the techie and the customer, the partner, to make sure that what we're actually doing is channeling that expertise into what the sector is, how they do it, what they do, to actually make sure that they're only getting the relevant pieces of information and not all the things that really excite the techie when they're talking about it, that are probably irrelevant in 90% of the cases to that particular customer partner. So it's about making sure that what we're actually delivering hits the nail on the head for that particular customer to resolve their issue or their problem.
Absolutely. So it's really good to hear what we're doing to make it simple. Doing a podcast, how does this fit into Linton's bigger mission? We've maybe touched upon it, but how does this fit into what we're trying to achieve?
Well, I'm sure you'll be looking at it from your marketing heads.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, for me, this is more about people understanding who we are, getting a bit of a personality of Linton. I mentioned earlier that the vast majority of our customers see us as that trusted partner.
Yeah.
They know us, they like us, they want to work with us. They don't see us as a supplier. And what we need to do is be able to actually convey our personality a little bit more, and also talk about the technologies.
Absolutely.
Because I'm really excited about the journey that we've been on over the last few years, where we've really focused in on the simplification of the services that we offer and how we deliver those. But people maybe look at us and tar us with the same IT brush. And what better way to actually convey the fact that we do things differently than to actually talk about them, and let people
100%.
know what we do, why we do it, and how it's different. Because nobody's going to dive into a brochure, no offence, Jamie, but I know you've produced all these wonderful brochures that ultimately people want to look to know that we're doing things right, but they're not going to dive into that brochure to understand why we do it in the first place.
Yeah.
And these podcasts are going to be that important key to actually make people want to read those brochures that you've produced.
Definitely. A bit of education as well. There'll be some fun insights that we'll hopefully get from the guests that come on.
I think
yourself.
you're going to try and make me fun.
Fun.
It doesn't come natural to me, but I'll try.
Yeah.
You might get a little bit of my dry humour in there somewhere.
Well, let's move on to the fun segment of this podcast. We've talked about
Yeah, you promised this.
the boring business bit, but it's time for your light bulb moment. And this isn't the only fun bit we've got today. But let's start with this. So I've got the light bulb. I'm going to turn it on.
Is it not supposed to come on when it's above my head because it's a bright idea?
Well, hopefully it is a bright idea.
Well, I don't know actually.
You're going to enlighten us with now. So
I'm setting myself up here, aren't I?
Yeah, so 30 seconds of wisdom, something that can inspire the audience, give us a bit of insight, or just something techie.
As I've talked about it today, I think the best thing to do would be not to bury your head in the sand of the technology, not to be scared of it, to embrace it. And if you're not already working with Linton, speak to your IT company, understand what they do for you, why they do it, and tell them more about your business. Tell them what they need to know to be able to support you better. Because without that relationship back and forth as to what you do versus what they do to help, there's no way that they can support you in the right way.
I think that's a perfect takeaway. Don't be scared of reaching out and asking the questions, and that's why we're here, to make it simple. So, no, thank you. I'll take that back.
Your bulb back.
Turn it off, yeah. No, amazing. So I'm going to move on to another segment, and it's going to be a bit of fun. Some quick fire questions. I'm hoping you can give us some insight on who you are as a person. So let's dive straight in. Morning person or a night owl?
Definitely a night owl.
Definitely a night owl. Yeah, you're always up late at night working. Probably
Absolutely.
too often. But next one is wine or beer?
Beer.
Beer, not a G&T.
Yeah, well, I did have a little phase of G&T, and I still have the odd G&T. However, spending a fair bit of time in Spain, it's a bit of a beer culture, and I've got a bit accustomed to having lemon beer.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Which I quite like. It's basically, we would call it a shandy, but it's made with cloudy lemonade, and I actually quite like it. It's quite refreshing when it's
Very
warm.
nice, yeah, and it's always nice.
And it's hard to get here. Really struggle. Tesco's been out of stock for months. Tesco, get it in stock.
No, I love that. It's always nice having a cold beer by the beach. The next one, on the drink theme, coffee or tea?
Tea.
Tea, well,
Absolutely.
lovely tea you've had made for yourself.
Although I'm letting it get cold here, I should be drinking a bit faster.
No, the next one is sunrise or sunset?
Well, given your first question, it's going to have to be a sunset, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But actually, probably more after the sunset, stargazing.
Oh, nice.
But you've got to be somewhere remote to see them properly.
Yeah. Well, you've got a new motorhome that you can get out and about and see the
Yeah,
stars.
but it's still in light polluted England. You get up to the Canaries and up in the mountains there, It's the best stargazing in the world. All of the universities around the world have got an observatory on the Canary Islands.
Very nice. I'm off to Tenerife in a
Get
month's
yourself
time,
up into
so
the
I'll
mountain.
have to get myself there. Next one is book or movie.
Well, given I'm dyslexic and I don't like reading, maybe I shouldn't be shouting too much about this, but I quite often say I've never read a book in my life. I've started to read a couple over the years. At school, we were forced to read books. I slyly watched the movie the night before and did my review based on that. So I think the answer's got to be a movie.
Love that, absolutely. And I think I know what this one's going to be, but I might be surprised. Beach or city?
City.
City. Well, I am surprised, considering you love being by the beach. Or
I
you
like
always are
looking
by
at the beach.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of walking on the sand. It gets
I
everywhere.
don't like sand in your toes.
However, I did enjoy the beach recently when there was a concert on the beach.
Oh, nice.
I've forgotten the name of the Spanish festival, but they'll probably not be happy with me. But basically, they have a thing where everybody runs into the sea at midnight, and it was pretty amazing with thousands of people basically running into the sea. I had quite a good evening
great
that
fun.
night.
No, was it a work night or?
It was a work night. Well, I'm a night owl.
Yeah, didn't notice you're tired the next day, so no, all good. Pizza or pasta?
Well, I'm not a big fan of Italian, because Italian's full of dairy and I don't have dairy. However, I do eat both. Sometimes, if I was to have a preference, it'd probably be a pizza, but vegan cheese is just awful.
Never tried it, so
yeah, I don't blame you.
Fair enough. And this last one, a bit controversial. So, Apple or Microsoft?
Why is that controversial?
Well,
I think it's got to be Microsoft.
It does, yeah. And
well, it's all over us, isn't it?
Sleeve. Yeah.
Yeah. And perhaps the reason why is Microsoft gives us much better security when it comes to what we can do and how we can manage things for our customers. There are a lot of people that love Apple.
Yeah.
They tend to stem from being quite IT savvy people. So you'll find it's a lot of designers who may be having it for the look, or there's a lot of people that like the ecosystem because they know what they can get under the bonnet of it themselves. But somebody that requires an IT company to manage, maintain, monitor things for them, really the Microsoft ecosystem is the only one they should be looking at.
No, and as a Microsoft partner, it's the right answer, I think.
Well, I couldn't say anything else, could I?
No, absolutely, but I agree with you.
I didn't focus on being the
partner
partner side simply because there are reasons why. It's not just because we're a partner, and it's not just because that's all we do, because we do support people on their Macs as well, but they're generally in specialist industries.
Yeah, no, that's very good. And I suppose that concludes the podcast. Have you had fun?
I have had a lot of fun, Jamie. It's
Amazing.
been great. And I look forward to the next one. But are you telling me yet who it's going to be, or do I wait for the surprise?
We're gonna keep it as a surprise. But no, it should be a good one. But I'll be behind the camera on this next one. It's been fun sat in front of it, but a bit out of the comfort zone. So yeah,
Thank you very much.
That concludes us. And I suppose to the listeners, if you've enjoyed listening, make sure to subscribe and follow. We've recently revived our Instagram account. There might be a TikTok account coming, but follow us on LinkedIn, and you'll see a lot of good content coming soon. So I think that concludes it.
Thank you very much, Jamie.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Making It Simple podcast. It would really help if you could like and follow on LinkedIn, Instagram and TikTok, and also tune in to our next episode. See you soon.